Alright, let's talk about your dictation assignments. This is going to be a very important component of the class, and probably until at least parts of the second year will be the thing outside of class you spend the most time on. It will be one of the larger components of your homework grades. Each week you will receive a dictation assignment, which will then be comprised of typically 14 or 15 short melodic dictations that you will need to write down. And so this is a little bit of an introduction just to let you know how they work, kind of what's expected of you, what you will receive as far as information ahead of time, and some strategies on listening to the dictations. So first, as I said, they are melodic, although there will be some harmonic dictations later. They are melodic dictations, so I will play a melody here at the piano, and you will need to write it down. Now, since this is YouTube, there is no limit on the number of times you can listen to a melody. I recommend that you listen to the melody as many times as you need in order to feel comfortable that you have written it down accurately. Now, the way that I'm going to approach these melodies is when you watch the first video, you will see a number referring to the dictation assignment number, and a letter referring to which one it is in the actual assignment. So say 1B or 1F will tell you where you are in the assignment. And I'm going to spot you a couple of pieces of information right at the get-go. Okay? I'm going to provide a number of pieces of information for you at the very beginning, and I will speak them as well as writing them here on the board beneath the numbers so you will be able to understand. The first thing I'm going to give you is the clef. So I will give you a treble clef, or I might give you a bass clef, or I might give you an alto clef. If we want to get crazy, I'll give you a baritone clef or a mezzo-soprano clef, or anything. Those later ones will come much, much later. But we're going to begin with just the treble or the bass clef. So let's just say, for sake of argument, we're starting with the treble clef. I will have it written here. I will also give you the key or the key signature. At the beginning, it's going to be very easy because we're going to be doing things in the key of C, which has no key signature. So the place where the key signature B will, of course, be empty. We're in the key of C. Then I will give you the time signature. Okay, in this case, let's just say 4/4, or I might give you 2/4, or 6/8, or 5/1. But we'll begin with the simple kinds of meters. Then I'm going to tell you what the first note is. But I'm going to tell you what the first note is in solfege. So if I say the first note of this example in treble clef, C major, 4/4 time, is Do in the staff, quarter note. This is what you will get. And I'm actually going to repeat a little bit of this in the introduction to dictation assignment number 1 as a reminder, but this is where we will begin. Do in the staff, quarter note on beat 1. So that's a lot of information, but what's telling you it's Do. We know we're in the key of C. You learned from the previous examples of the introductory video on solfege that we use the movable Do system. So in the key of C, C will be Do. If we were in the key of G, G would be Do, and so on. So Do, so we know it's going to be a C. I say Do in the staff. So within the lines of the staff refers to this C because there's only one C inside the lines of the staff. If I were to say Do below the staff, quarter note on beat 1, this is what, excuse me, crooked, this is what I would mean. And if I said Do above the staff, quarter note on beat 1, this is what I would mean. All those notes were C's. There was a Do above the staff, in the staff, and below the staff. I'm not going to go any further afield than that without changing the clef. So let's say Do in the staff, quarter note on beat 1. So quarter note, you know what a quarter note is, on beat 1, meaning beginning at the in the very first measure, the first beat of this example. If I were to say quarter note on beat 2, I would need to provide a rest and then a quarter note on beat 2 if that was the first note. So I'll always tell you what the first note is. Also, I will provide, in the first couple of dictation assignments, I will provide you the number of measures as well, written here. So say this is 3 measures in length, 1, 2, 3, and that will be written out for you so that you can understand it. What will happen with the pieces of information that I give you is slowly but surely throughout the course of the dictation assignments, I'm going to start taking away pieces of information that I'm providing you, or at least I'm providing you visually. I'm going to tell you what the pieces of information are, but I'm not always going to show you. The first thing I'm going to take away is the writing the number of measures. So instead of writing 3 measures and as well as telling you, I'm just going to tell you, this example is 3 measures in length. And then you will need to write those in by yourself without copying them from the screen. Eventually I will tell you the note, quarter note, on Do, beat 1. I will just tell you instead of showing you. And then eventually I will not tell you, I will not write down the key signature, or the time signature. I'll just say 4/4 and you'll need to put that down. I will not show you the key signature or the clef eventually. So slowly I'm going to start taking these pieces of information away, but you're going to be hearing them every single time. I'm not going to take away from telling them to you, just writing them. All right, now once we get into that place of treble clef, key of C major, 4/4 time, first note, Do in the staff quarter note on beat 1, 3 measures, then I will count off a few introductory measures. The purpose of that is so that you get a sense of the tempo of the piece, because I could count off 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, or it could be 1, 2, 3, 4. So I will count off typically 2 measures to kind of get you into the rhythm. Now, a word of warning, I am not using a metronome, and I am not a metronome myself, though I will be teaching you throughout the course of this sequence to exercise your internal metronomes, which are here through the process of counting and of subdivision. But I am not much of a piano player, so there may be some variability in my tempo as I play. It's not going to be drastic, but those of you who are very perceptive may note that my tempos fluctuate slightly. I will make no apology for that. That is actually kind of a real-world experience that you will have to deal with. It won't be so drastic that it will make you unable to complete the dictation, but there may be some very slight variability, just as there is in actual modern performance of actual music. So after I count you in, then I will begin playing on the piano. And at that point, you will want to listen very carefully. My advice is always the first time you listen to a dictation, put your pencil down. Don't write anything, and really don't look at anything. Even close your eyes and listen. Maybe tap your foot to the rhythm, to the prevailing rhythm that you can feel, or snap your fingers. Close your eyes or look at something that won't distract you and listen. Just listen to the melody to see what's going on. And you can hear the contour of the melody. You can hear the gestures that are being used. You can hear the motion of the melody. You can hear the rhythm. That is always my first, the first time listening through. I always recommend that you listen only and don't try to quickly scribble note by note, and finish it as soon as you possibly can the very first time. We will get to that point eventually where we will drill in being able to hear simple melodies and being able to dictate them on a one-off like that. But that's somewhat later after we spend some time practicing the basic fundamentals. So listen to it the first time without trying to write. Listen for the gestures they're using. Even have your gesture handbook there with you to see how the contours of the gestures look as they are written down. And then subsequent times listening through it, attempt to write the melody down. And when you've completed one, then go to the next. And you will notice patterns emerging. Okay? Certain gestures I will use in consecutive examples, and then new gestures, and then combining two gestures, simultaneous, not simultaneously, but one after the other, and you'll start hearing how melodies are captured in the mind of the composer, and how melodies are written down, and how they one leads to the other in patterns and sequences. So that's the best advice that I can give you. And then write them down and do your very best always. And if you are having a difficulty in hearing a certain gesture or hearing a certain form, I will occasionally post on the class site on Blackboard, I will occasionally post the answers to random dictations, maybe 2 per assignment or something like that, so that you can check your work against that to kind of see if you're getting close or if there's something that you're missing particularly. But that is how dictation assignments work. If you have any questions, of course, get into contact with me. Don't wait until it's too late if you're having trouble and it's almost time to turn something in. I recommend there are 14 or 15 of these dictations in each assignment. I would recommend doing a few a day rather than trying to cram all 14 or 15 of them into Thursday night before class. That will be a recipe for disaster. You'll get a little bit burned out, it'll be hard to hear. So try and go slow and steady, and put several of them on a day at a time, and that will really help you. But again, if you have any questions, be sure to contact me. All right, good luck.